Okay, so on RGMMC TV, you just heard from the pole sitter, Oliver York, winner of the British Cadet Championships in 2013, a top 10 finisher in the British Minimax Championships this year, and the driver got the best set of results yesterday. He starts on pole position. He got the same points as Jack McCarthy, but they counted it back based on qualifying times for Friday, so Ollie just got the vote, pole position just ahead of Jack McCarthy. Oliver won the third heat yesterday and had 2 third places. Jack McCarthy had a win as well, and a second and a fourth. So it's Jack McCarthy second on the grid. Third on the grid is Presley Martano, having his finest weekend so far in Europe for AIM Motorsport. He starts third. Fourth on the grid is Alex Quinn, who had a tremendous drive forwards yesterday from a lowly grid position. He's got himself on the second row of the grid and back in with a shout here. The driver who finished fifth in the championship. He's from the fair county of Cornwall in England, sponsored by Harlequins Leisure and Freem UK, Mars Murphy, MDM Designs, North Coast Commercials, M&J Builders and the Bank of Mum and Dad, of course, all helping him along his way. Hello to those of you watching back home. Best wishes to Granny, who I know has not been well, and Toby will be watching as well. Let's see how he gets on from fourth on the grid. Giannis Mavlanov is going to be fifth on the grid. Javier Gonzalez sixth on row 4. Daniel Luco and Luke Ibanez, who started the races yesterday on pole position, won one race, third in the other, but a DNF in the middle sort of sport his chances of being right at the front of the grid. On row 3, Jordan Brown-Nutley was another driver who came through strongly yesterday. Might have been higher on the grid, but for a penalty in race 3. Nicholas Scholl is completing the top 10. Row 6, Mauricio van der Laan and Juan Manuel Salaman. Row 7, Jack Martin and Marta Garcia. Row 8, Rinus van Kalmthout and Marcus Armstrong, both capable of coming forwards. Row 9, Sanne van Wagensveld and Ido Cohen. Row 10, Pidana Minang and Maciek Strupek. And then the rest of the grid on row 11, Tim Mika-Metz and Scott Simmons. Row 12, Angelo Prodrumu in the top 3 in the London Cup back home in the UK recently. Julia Pankovic, row 13, Mikhail Stopinski and Mi Majala. And that's just about all we've got time for, because the race is about to get underway. And here we go then. They're charging to turn number 1. Oliver York's got a great start. He's going to lead. Presley Martano is tucked in behind him. It's an 8-lap race. They're through the first corner. Breathe in, close your eyes. Will they all make it through turn 2? Of course not. There are 2 or 3 off. 4, in fact, I think. Now you can see on screens coming together in the middle of the pack once again. So they now got a huge amount of work to do if they want to get a result here through the final. At the head of the pack, though, they're all safely through, and Oliver York continues to lead the race. He's a couple of lengths clear as he comes back in front of the commentary box through turn 5. Looks like Martano then running in second place, and a good start as well, I think, for Denis Mavlanov. He looks like he's the one in cart number 24 from 5th on the grid, who's tucked himself then into 3rd position. So decent start by him. 1 or 2 others have slipped back. Alex Quinn, who was on the outside row, which is always a more difficult place to start, has lost a few places, but he is still 7th, so not too bad, and with plenty of time to come back through the order. Jack McCarthy's also dropped back a bit by the looks of things from 2nd on the grid. So the inside line once again having the big advantage into turn 1 out of turn 10, and over the start-finish line then they come for the first time in this race, and Mavlanov goes for 2nd place down the inside of Martano on the way into turn number 1. He gets through, and I think Daniel Luco, who was in 4th place, will get through as well, or at least will try to, on the run into turn 2. So York leading, Mavlanov goes 2nd, then it's a tie for 3rd between Martano and Luco. Jack McCarthy was 5th at the end of the first lap. Jordan Brown-Nutley coming through to 6th. A good start once again for Jordan. And then Alex Quinn 7th at the end of the first lap. More changes here as they come through. Oliver York is just getting away with this. And who is that pulling off the side? Is that possibly Martano, I think, that's pulled off the road coming out of turn 5. So he's on the grass, and the cart's still running, but very slowly. And he's got a big problem, and it looks like he's out of the race effectively, so a bit of bumping and boring going on further back inside the top 6. Alex Quinn has made a place or 2 up. Now he's up to 5th place, so back up to 5th place for Alex Quinn as he makes his way through the S section, turns 8 and 9 into the right-hander at turn 10. Oliver York, though, is going to have a huge lead here. It was half a second clear at the end of the first lap. It's going to be probably about a second clear this time around from Mavlanov. 3rd place now is Jack McCarthy coming back up through the field. 4th Brown-Nutley, 5th Quinn. Quinn looks down the inside on the way into turn 2, pulls off a good manoeuvre, and Alex goes up a place. So ahead of fellow Brit Jordan Brown-Nutley. Quinn goes 4th. Brown-Nutley drops down to 5th place, and they're all concertina up together again. Right behind them is Rinus van Kalmthout, who's made an excellent start to the race from 15th on the grid. He's in the top 6 now as well. He's just tucked in behind Alex Quinn. So Quinn's dropped one. So Brown-Nutley through the hairpin section got back ahead of Quinn. Swapped around again. Brown Nutley managed to squeeze back through to fourth. Then it's Quinn in fifth. Rinus van Kalmthout is in sixth place. They go through the left-hander at turn 6. Got Javier Gonzalez just behind them in seventh place. And then a move past Alex Quinn for Rinus van Kalmthout. And Quinn loses another place on the exit to the turn. So van Kalmthout and Gonzalez both go through to fifth and sixth positions now. Alex Quinn down to seventh. Oliver York, though, leading the race by 1.1 seconds at the end of lap 2. We're coming up towards the end of lap number 3 now. And he is having a really good run here while the others fight. He's just getting on with it. Looks like he's on a pair of rails. Jack McCarthy's now going to go for second place into turn 1 and squeezes through. Jack McCarthy there with the greeny-blue helmet squeezing through into second place now ahead of Denis Mavlanov. Runs a bit deep on the exit to turn 2, but he covers off the line. Through turn 3 he goes, hanging on to second place and now starting to pull away through in the hairpin section. Although on the exit to the hairpin, Mavlanov comes back at him, has a little bump on the rear corner of McCarthy, another tap on the way into turn 5, but McCarthy fends him off. And all the time, Jordan Brown Nutley with a dark black suit, the bluish helmet, is coming after them in fourth place. He's absolutely flying here. So too is Rinus van Kalmthout, who's into fifth place now. Javier Gonzalez sixth, Alex Quinn seventh. Marcus Armstrong has made up some time here. He's in eighth place from the middle of the grid. Jack Martin ninth, Nicholas Scholl currently running in 10th place. Daniel Luco had a good start to the race, dropped back on the second lap, and he's now in 12th position, the Finnish driver. So the race leader is holding station here, still 1.1 seconds clear, not pulling away anymore. Is he now being caught, perhaps? Possibly. No, still 1.1 seconds is the gap. So they're all on the same pace here. Second, third and fourth are all together. McCarthy comes under fire from Mavlanov, and Mavlanov gets second place on the run through turn 2. McCarthy's got to watch it because he's got Jordan Brown Nutley right behind him as well. Has a look up the inside but backs off out of it. So Mavlanov has got second. And then we got McCarthy down to third. Brown Nutley is right with them now in fourth place. And Javier Gonzalez is at the back of the train. So there are 4 of them battling over second place. Bit of a gap back then to the next 5 carts battling over 6. Rinus van Kalmthout, Alex Quinn, Jack Martin, Nicholas Scholl. And at the back end of that group in 10th place, Marcus Armstrong. It's wheel to wheel again into turn 6. And McCarthy goes back through. And running out wide is Denis Mavlanov. He loses not 1 but 3 places. So he goes from second down to 5th place. Follow me, says McCarthy. Let's try and catch the leader. And he's taken with him Brown Nutley and Gonzalez. So McCarthy back up to second. Brown Nutley now third. Terrific drive this by Jordan Brown Nutley from 9th on the grid. And also going well, Javier Gonzalez, who started the race in 6th place. He's now 4th. Head down. Follow me, says Jack McCarthy in cart number 33. He's done very well to battle his way back through the order here after losing places on the run through turns 1 and 2 because he was hung out to dry on the outside line. So through they go. Javier Gonzalez has got the fastest lap of the race so far, but they're more concerned with track time and position. And actually, second, third and fourth, I think, are starting to be reeled in by the next group of carts who all run together here. Rinus van Kalmthout having a big battle to try and hold station at the head of that group. May have just been under threat of falling back there. Marcus Armstrong is the one, I think, that's trying to get in the mix of the orange helmet at the back of the group, but he couldn't quite find a way through. So Armstrong still at the tail end of the top 10. He's made up a place or two, but he's not yet up into the top 6. So Oliver York leading the race by exactly 2 seconds. There's just over 2 laps to go. McCarthy in second. And then coming back at them now is Denis Mavlanov after he was overtaken. Not sure there was any contact, but he had to go offline to allow McCarthy to come through. Went on the grass ever so slightly. Cost him time and he dropped 3 places in the blink of an eye. Through they go. McCarthy second, Nutley third, and Brown Nutley goes at the inside now and goes second, and following him through is Javier Gonzalez to go third. McCarthy drops to 4th. I still think Mavlanov is at the back of the group in 5th place, and not far behind him in 6th position now is Jack Martin having a very strong race as well. Jack has come through from 13th on the grid, and another change this time for second, and this time on the way into turn 5. And it's Gonzalez that now gets to the head of the group, ahead of Brown Nutley. Lap and a half to go. This is a fantastic race from the juniors. Second, third and fourth on the brakes then. And Brown Nutley comes back down into second place he goes. And he takes with him, I think, McCarthy. So McCarthy's back into third place. Brown Nutley and Gonzalez having a terrific scrap on that lap. But it's Brown Nutley that's got his nose in front now. All of this, of course, allowing Oliver York just to breeze around at the front of the pack on his own. So he is comfortably clear and about to start what will be the final lap of the pre-final here. If he can stay where he is, he's going to land pole position for the final to come. There is Oliver York. Look at the gap, but look at the queue forming up for second place. Brown Nutley under attack from McCarthy now. Mavlanov and Gonzalez next up. They all close up under braking on the way into turn 2 for the final time. One or two moves going on just further back. Oh, and one of the group spins. There's a bit of contact. It's not from that very lead group, but somebody in and around 7th, 8th place down at turn 2 has dropped out, got into a spin with less than a lap to go. Brown Nutley, though, has got his nose in front in this scrap for second place. McCarthy is third, but he's coming under a lot of pressure from Mavlanov. As through they go, and they make a little bit of wheel banging contact through turn 5, and they swap around as well. So Mavlanov going for it. And Rinus van Kalmthout and the second group of karts have caught them all up now as well. Jack Martin, Nicholas Scholl, that little group. Dust is kicked up, and it's still a huge scrap for second place here that's going on the run through. Also third place, rather, for the last couple of corners. And third place, of course, gets you the inside line. So they're all keen to make it stick. Brown Nutley is going to finish second. The winner is going to be Oliver York, but who will take third place? The flag is readied. Oliver York wins the pre-final. A long way ahead of Jordan Brown Nutley, and it's still wheel banging, still contact over the line for third place, but it is Dennis Mavlanov that hangs on to the position. Marcus Armstrong was all over the back of him as they came over the start-finish line and made contact a couple of times, but Marcus Armstrong with a very good final lap there to get through to fourth place, but it's not quite the inside line he would have liked. Javier Gonzalez was fifth, Nicholas Scholl sixth, Jack McCarthy dropped to seventh place on that final lap. Johnny Slavinsky came through to 8th. Rinus van Kalmthout was 9th. Alex Quinn was 10th. Jack Martin slipped back into 11th place at the end, having been very competitive for most of that race, running right up there at the front of the field. Luke Ibanez, I think, was the one that had the moment down at turn 2, because he was in that group and he dropped to 24th place in the end. So I think it was probably Luke Ibanez, whose weekend started well, but he's taken a turn for the worse now. 24th, he's going to be near the back of the grid for the final to come. Woo, catch your breath, that was a good one. Oliver York didn't have too much going on. He won by 3.6 seconds in the end, but that was an almighty tussle for second place in the juniors. Great race that. So the victory going to Oliver York, 3.6 seconds clear of Jordan Brown Nutley, who fought his way through from 9th place to second. Denis Mavlanov had a real battling performance as well, the Russian driver, up and down the order, but he came through in the end to finish in third place. Fourth place was Marcus Armstrong, literally right on the rear bumper of Mavlanov as they crossed the line. Javier Gonzalez was as high as second at one point, had a really big tussle with Jordan Brown Nutley. He slipped to 5th place in the end. Still looking good though, the Mexican. Nicholas Scholl came through to finish in 6th place, and now what's happened there? The screen has just refreshed itself and something has changed. Now Marcus Armstrong has been put to 3rd, and Denis Mavlanov has suddenly dropped off the screen for some reason. So we'll have to bring you news of that. But he's suddenly slipped off the screen on the timing screen, which just refreshed itself. So we'll have to wait and see. But Mavlanov, for some reason, disappearing off the results. So as it stands, York, then Brown Nutley, then Armstrong 3rd now, promoted to. Gonzalez has been promoted to 4th, Scholl to 5th, McCarthy to 6th, Johnny Slavinsky 7th, Rinus van Kalmthout, Alex Quinn 9th, and Jack Martin 10th. And the news coming through from race control is that Mavlanov got a 5-second penalty for driving standards, and that was added to his time then at the end of the race. So Denis Mavlanov, who crossed the line in 3rd place, receives a 5-second penalty. That pushes him back to 21st place. So Mavlanov, that's going to be heartbreak for him, down to 21st place. So that was probably to do with that last lap of the race. So there you go. That's why Armstrong does get promoted to 3rd. He'll be on the inside line, and he'll be much happier than he was yesterday. So there are the rest of the results. 11th, Scott Simmons. 12th, Padana Manang. 13th, Van Wagensvelt. 14th, Pankiewicz. 15th, Garcia. Luco 16th, Stepinski 17th, Prodrumo in 18th place. And then the rest of the results very quickly. Majala was 19th, Mika Metz 20th, Mavlanov down to 21st, Simmons 22nd, Cohen 23rd, Ibanez, I'm afraid, down to 24th, Heikel 25th, Kowat 26th, Uito 27th, Van der Laan 28th, Nipfer 29th, Shrupek 30th, Suleiman 31st, and a non-finish for Presley Mortar.